What if the Russian Federation decided to deploy in an aggressive manner large numbers of their attack submarines off the Ukrainian coast to threaten vital grain supplies? Or what if they used their submarines to harass and intimidate the potential new members of NATO, Sweden, and Finland? Do NATO and these other nations have the capability to take on and, if necessary, destroy the Russian intruders? In this video, we will look at these potential scenarios that might result in a deadly submarine versus submarine clash, though we will not explore it escalating any further into a full-scale naval conflict that would no doubt include anti-submarine warfare ships and planes. During the Cold War in the 1970s and 1980s, the Soviet Union put a great emphasis on developing and building all different types of submarines. But after the breakup of the Soviet Union in 1991, the new Russian Federation, for a time, neglected its navy, including its once vast submarine fleet, letting it become woefully outdated and fall into a very poor state of repair. Since 2013, the Russian Federation has made funds available to reverse this trend, and with a special emphasis on modernizing its submarine fleet by upgrading its existing yet aging submarine fleets. In 2022, it is still in the process of doing this, with just over half its 15 nuclear attack submarines, the SSNs, being out of service as they are being refitted. All but one of these submarines was built between 1990 and 2000. The exception is the NERPA of the Akula class, which entered service in 2009. The Sierras and Victors, in their heyday, were highly capable submarines, but are now old and increasingly obsolete. Therefore, the Russian Navy are in the process of retiring the last few of them. As for the Akula class, they are split between the North Atlantic and Pacific fleets. Some have already been modernized after having had extensive overhauls and refits. So despite their age, these submarines make for a formidable opponent, being equipped with an advanced sonar, a high-tech mine detecting equipment, decoy defenses, and sophisticated electronic countermeasures. The Akulas are relatively quiet submarines and hard to detect despite being over 370 feet long. They are incredibly fast, being able to reach speeds of up to 40 miles per hour when submerged. They also have a maximum operating depth of nearly 2,000 feet, which is the equivalent of twice the height of the Eiffel Tower, whereas many of its opponents can only reach half that depth. Akulas are extremely well armed with a total of 8 torpedo tubes, 4 being 21-inch medium torpedo tubes with 28 reloads, and the other 4 25-inch heavy torpedo tubes with 12 reloads, the last being capable of firing missiles too. It can also hit land targets or shipping far away with excellent accuracy by using its caliber cruise missiles, often being equipped with the 3M14K variant. This has an advanced inertial guidance for precision attacks. It is 20 feet long with a range of 1,600 miles and flies at Mach 0.8, which is 614 miles per hour. Its 990-pound warhead could in theory sink an aircraft carrier with just one hit. It can also deploy sea mines and is rumored to be able to use a wide variety of other missiles, like the SSN-15 Starfish and SSN-16 Stallion, which can both be fitted with nuclear warheads. And when surfaced, it can use a shoulder-launch infrared homing surface-to-air missile with 18 reloads to knock out any nearby aircrafts. The Russian Navy also relies on a large number of conventional powered attack submarines, SSK, having 21 of them. They still use the elderly Kilo-class attack submarines. 73 of these were built and were also widely exported to countries like Algeria, Iran, and Vietnam. But it is old, very cramped inside, and very much an obsolete design. Therefore, it is most likely that these will be retired in the next few years. The successor to the Kilo submarines was going to be the Lada class, but this planned replacement ran into serious design issues, so the Russian Navy in the mid-2010 decided as a stopgap measure to produce an improved version of the existing Kilo class with a much better sonar and more advanced electronics. Overall, the Russian submarine fleet today is old, though it is very slowly being modernized by upgrading existing designs and is still very much a force to be reckoned with. The Ukrainian Navy has no submarines and virtually no anti-submarine warfare capability, so it is no real threat to Russian submarines who would dominate any underwater conflict with the Ukraine almost immediately. Finland would fare a little better. They once had a few 500-ton mine-laying submarines during World War II, but they were retired a long time ago. They now have just a few shore and coastal patrol ships armed with Soviet 1960s-era RBU-1200 unguided rocket-propelled depth charges. But with no effective sonar on these ships with which to detect the Russian submarines in the first place, this means the Finnish have no real way to counter any kind of Russian submarine threat. Sweden, on the other hand, does have 3 Gotland-class submarines, which uses the AIP propulsion system. This gives these submarines a very long range and also makes them extremely quiet. Despite these being nearly 30 years old, these submarines are among the best conventional submarines in the world today. Even the more advanced Russian submarines would struggle to detect and defeat them in combat. The Gotland's only real drawback is that the Swedish Navy only has so few of them, and that all of them are scheduled to be retired in 2025. But the Swedish Navy is now saying that they will almost undoubtedly extend the Gotland's service life by a number of years. Its eventual replacement is planned to be 2 of the new super stealth submarines of the Bleking class. Though due to cost overruns, delays, and technical problems, these submarines are not due to enter service until 2027 and 2028. Therefore, the responsibility to defend these waters of the Ukraine, Finland, and Sweden might well fall to NATO members Britain and the United States, who probably between them have the best and most modern submarines in the world today. The British Royal Navy is in the process of buying 7 astute nuclear-powered fleet submarines, costing an average of around $2.2 billion each. Fleet submarines are specifically designed with the speed, range, and endurance to operate as an integral part of a naval task force. The whole project has been plagued by costly overruns and technical issues. This has resulted in the first of these becoming operational in 2014, which was 5 years behind schedule. The Astute class has 6 21-inch medium torpedo tubes. These use the deadly spearfish torpedoes, which use proximity or contact detonation fuses. These have a 660-pound warhead that can sink most ships and ends with just one hit. Even a proximity explosion by a spearfish will normally cripple or destroy an enemy submarine. And even if the spearfish misses its target completely, it will automatically recalculate a new attack route and re-attack the target. For land and surface targets, the Astutes carry Tomahawk Block 4 cruise missiles, which will soon be replaced in 2024 with the very latest Block 5 version. These are capable of hitting within feet of a target from up to 1,000 miles away. For land and surface targets, the Astutes carry Tomahawk Block 4 cruise missiles, which will soon be replaced in 2024 with the very latest Block 5 version. These are capable of hitting within feet of a target from up to 1,000 miles away. For detecting enemy ships and submarines, the Astute class uses the very latest sonar 2076, which its manufacturer BAE claims is the best sonar system in the world today. And in order to make itself nearly invisible to enemy sensors, the hull is coated with sonar-absorbent material. Other useful features of the Astute class submarines include a special reinforced fin to allow it to surface through ice caps and the ability to deploy special forces units while the submarine is still submerged. And it unusually has individual bunks for each of its crew members rather than the traditional hot bunking. This is where 2 sailors on opposite watches share the same bunk at different times. It is worth noting that the British Royal Navy has no conventional attack submarines to back up its small number of nuclear fleet submarines with. This means it will normally have only 3 Astutes on active patrol duty at any one time across the world, with a further 2 in transit between port and their patrol stations, and 2 in port with its crew on leave, as well as having routine maintenance work being done. Like the British Royal Navy, the US Navy now operates an all-nuclear submarine fleet and is in the process of phasing out its existing Seawolf and Los Angeles class of attack submarines in favor of the 3-decked Virginia class, which it has been slowly introducing since 2004 at a rate of just under one per year. The Virginia, which incorporates the very latest in stealth, intelligence gathering, and weapons systems technology, cost around $3 billion each. And in order to keep costs down and to keep the project on schedule, it uses as much as possible existing commercial off-the-shelf equipment. It takes approximately 3 years to complete one, with 17 now in US service and a further 6 in various stages of production as of 2022. 6 more are on order but have not been started on yet. Eventually, the US Navy hopes to acquire a total of 34 of these submarines. Its design and propulsion makes the Virginia class incredibly stealthy. Its electronics have been updated continually during its production run, and it is designed so that it can be easily upgraded further throughout its service career, especially its highly secretive and advanced sonar. It also has an advanced electromagnetic signature reduction system built into it. It has 4 torpedo tubes capable of launching Mark 48 deep diving torpedoes, tactical Tomahawks cruise missiles, Harpoon anti-ship missiles, and a special new advanced mobile mine. It also has multi-purpose tubes that can also launch Tomahawk cruise missiles, as well as unmanned undersea vehicles, UUV. And with a possible operational depth of around 1,600 feet and a submerged top speed of up to 40 miles per hour, the Virginians are therefore one of the few submarines in the world that can take on the Russian Akula-class submarines on equal terms. And this submarine, with its $3 billion price tag and a yearly operating cost of around $50 million, few countries could ever afford to buy and operate it. Nevertheless, there is a possibility that Australia might, in the near future, buy or lease several of them, or use Virginia's technology for its next generation of attack submarines.